I remember having this comic when I was a kid, and I wish I could go back in time and kick myself in the ass for selling it, but it is what it is. This is Force Works number one. This review comes at the request of one of our fellow community members, James. I'm glad that you kind of put the thought in my head because I remember when I was younger, I didn't understand a whole lot. I only knew X-Men and Batman back in the day, and because I don't know about y'all, but I've said this before. Growing up in a small town where comic book shops would pop up and then close, like maybe a year after opening up, so you just grabbed whatever books you could. And when you're a kid in a small town, you just you'll see, for example, you'd see Avengers, West Coast Avengers, and then other Avengers, Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and you just didn't know what was the main title to follow or how to read them in order, being young. And so I was too reluctant to want to try to dive into stuff. I kind of knew how to follow X-Men and Batman, and that's why I stuck with them. But now I've gotten older, I appreciate it more. So again, thank you for bringing me back to this. And yes, this is the one that has that weird unfoldable poster. Don't ask me to try to how to unfold it because I have no idea, and I'm not going to take the chance of ripping the cover. If any of you all know how to unfold this, maybe will be kind of cool. Send me a video of it, and I'll put up here on the YouTube channel for everyone to watch. Because yeah, I'm not brave enough to want even to attempt this cover. So the print date on this, if memory serves correctly, is July 1994. Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, U.S. Agent, Spider-Woman, Wonder Man, battle-hardened heroes of awesome power and courage who've cut loose from the past to forge a new team ready to confront the challenges those dangerous modern times. Force Works. I just love this dynamic. We are brought into the action. And I love how we kind of have this slight angle across Earth. And again, we get the kind of the light streaks here that starts your eyes, and then you work down to the space station. And then we see daybreak. Great use of paneling to draw the reader's eye, especially with the panels. I'm not going to go through all that reading. But essentially, you find out that the recorder is on this ship. And I don't know what other issues the recorder has been in. The last one that I consciously remember was it Uncanny X-Men 139 when Jean died? I think so. And it's at the end where Uatu, the Watcher, is talking with the recorder about Jean Grey and her legacy and all that stuff. So kind of seeing him here on this, what is it? This, let's go ahead and read a little bit. How about that? Just so I'm not sitting here picking my nose. Statement. I'm a recorder, a non-cellular life form created to think and record. I witness a sunrise above the planet Earth from the Kree fleet intruder, Retribution. The vessel maintains an geosynchronous position above the planet's surface. Shipboard lights are dimmed due to the power drainage sustaining the energy mirror, which cloaks its presence from the world beneath. And it says they are targeting Palos Verdes in the region known as California, North America. And so you're just thinking, why is it targeting California? So the creative team, the shattering dawn of a new era, brought to you by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning doing the writing. Which, speaking of Dan Abnett, I'm hoping to eventually start going over the Silencer because, yeah, I'm not even going to go into how much that drove me up the wall on Marvel's like, hey, this is a new character. People are starting to enjoy her. And from what I remember, I wasn't a big fan of the CW DC, but someone did say, and I think I saw a screenshot at one point in history, they actually put the Silencer in an episode. She was gaining traction, and they're like, no, we're going to cancel. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Tom Tenney doing penciling, Ray Garcia inks, Jack Morelli doing the lettering, Joe Rosas doing the colors, Neil Yomtov editor, and Tom DeFalco chief. So we got some big names on this book, so you can see how they're really trying to make an oomph to make this the next thing. So here we are brought into all the villains, which I'm not going to dive into. Just love that artwork. I miss this era of comics. Absolutely gorgeous. The one thing that you need to understand is they're looking at alpha and beta targets, and it's not very clear who those are right off the top of your head. So you're thinking, Okay, so the first one, when they say alpha, it kind of sort of becomes evident, but B, it sort of brings you through this like red herring through the entire book. So what happens here in Palos Verdes? I think I said that right. I'm just going to say yes. Wonder Woman and Iron Man land at what used to be the West Coast Avengers headquarters, as it says, as witnessed in West Coast Avengers 102, which is, I'm assuming, when they disbanded. But Simon here is like, if only I'd been there. I still can't believe what the East Coast Avengers pulled on us, questioning our performance, criticizing our motivations, and booting us off the team. I told you they didn't fire us. We all quit when we realized there was no place for us. The Avengers are going through a difficult time right now. Avengers West just took the heat for problems that were running through the membership. But look on the bright side. And before you can finish, oh, so there is a bright side. We've come a long way to meet you, Iron Man, and I'll scream if I hear any more bad news. So this time we have, I'm not sure if this is Jessica Drew. If you guys know which Spider-Woman this is, let me know. And the redesign for Wanda, I was just kind of like, wait a minute, is that the Scarlet Witch? And I was like, oh, okay, just different, I guess. But this is around that time when things were supposed to be extreme. I mean, at this time, I think was it around the 90s when Byrne took over the Fantastic Four and Sue had that really, we'll just call it extreme outfit. So anyway, they're thinking, why are we here? Well, friends, let's go inside and I'll try to explain why I've asked you all to come here today. Oh, just listen to me. I sound like Perry Mason. I feel so old because I actually get that reference. We still got power in the conference room, so let's set up there. What we've come from, we all know. Years of teamwork in Avengers West. Ever-changing fortunes. A reshuffle in the Avengers that even truly forced our resignations. As I said before, we know where we've been. I want to talk about where we're going. And so he's talking about how the Avengers have a lot of problems. And until they can kind of get those resolved, Tony wants to fund a new team. I believe that it is the duty of Earth's mightiest to use their powers proactively to protect the planet's interests, and if necessary, pursue an aggressive policy of defense and security. So kind of going back, I know this predates it, but this sort of reminds me of Craig Kyle and Christopher Yoss's X-Force run, where the X-Force kind of became sort of a CIA version of the X-Men. So you can kind of see what they're wanting to do with Force Works. I figured I'd have to put together a new group independently, perhaps recruiting non-Avengers to make the team. But the sudden breakup of Avengers West may be a blessing in disguise. We have been teammates for years. I suggest we continue. And everyone's a little reluctant after what happened in West Coast Avengers, which I've not read the issue, so I don't know what's happening exactly. But this is a good example of what I'm talking about when you pick up a comic. Your first comic should always not make you feel lost. So think about being, preteen, teen, or even in your late 20s, whatever, at this time period, and you're thinking, well, what the hell is Avengers West? You can at least read this and say, oh, well, all this action happened back in 102. So you can enjoy the book, and then when you're done, it gives you the idea of thinking, do I really want to go back and pursue the West Coast Avengers? And that's how it should be. You get enough information of who's who, what their intentions are, the new hideout, which I love this panel. Look at this Dutch angle, just bringing everything up to show the scale of this new place that Tony has put together. What the hell is it called? He calls it the Works, which is sort of like an R&D department where he kind of builds a lot of his stuff. So he wants to turn it into the new hideout or headquarters for Force Works. And it's ran by an artificial intelligence called Plato, which I'm a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong, Jarvis is the Avengers butler, but I can kind of see where they got the idea for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So cool idea. It takes a lot of the members a little bit to warm up. But as they see what Tony's intentions are, they start to agree. And even Tony says, His enthusiasm is encouraging. It matches my own. Maybe you three would like to relax in the living quarters while you make up your minds. And so he has a moment with Wanda, and he essentially tells her, he goes, we've worked together for so long, and I need someone that's going to help me keep us on point, and that's you, Wanda. I want you to be my right-hand man, or my gal Friday, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And that's sort of what turns her to want to join. But even before they can have a moment to sort of decompress, we find out who's alpha and beta targets in the Kree attack. So after you're thinking this is going to kind of be a moment where everyone gets to sort of breathe and have a moment, nope, all hell breaks loose, and you can see that Vision and Wonder Man are just in absolute pain. And the rest of the Avengers and this new team don't know exactly what to do. And sadly, it begins to just take a toll in the repercussions. And you see, at this point, I don't know if they're divorced or broken up. If you guys can kind of clarify that down in the comments for me. But you can see how Wanda her heart still belongs to Vision, even though he was at the point of almost dying. Speaking of which, there is something that tragically happens in this book that I can see moving forward that makes Tony really rethink what he's trying to do here. It makes him wonder if he should really even put this together. He goes, how could it have all gone wrong so very quickly? So yeah, wow. I wish that I would have read this when I was younger. But again, I was young, hard-headed, and I sold it. But I'm glad that it's back, and thank you for giving me the kick in the ass that I needed there, James. Because this cover, I mean, look at this. We get the Spider-Woman, U.S. Agent, Iron Man, and then if you open it all the way, Wonder Woman, Scarlet Witch, and then the other side of Iron Man. I miss covers like this. The wraparound, just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous work. So if you've never read Force Works #1 and you are interested for some awesome, different version of the Avengers, please first and foremost support your local comic shop, wherever there's like to get your action figures and comics, and pick up this book and all the continuing issues. If you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little wonder bell next subscribe, that way I can continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure that the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.